Hello and welcome everyone to the Marble Trials Season 1 qualifiers. These 24 elite teams before you will attempt to compete for 16 spots in the main league. And now again, only 16 spots are available, so these teams are ready to bring their best performances here in the qualifiers. Choose a favorite and hope they make it through. Here we have a look at the track for our first event, the underwater race, where teams will compete to sprint to the finish line in an attempt to get there first. Coach Foliage of the Poison Ivy is going to give us a demonstration of the track to show you guys how it works. He's not going to be as fast as some of the athletes, but he's still got a pretty good time there. Now we move on to our first heat. There are 6 teams in each heat, and the top 3 of each will move on to the next round. In this heat, we have the Limers, Apple Turnovers, Orcas, Blue Makos, Efficient Eggs, and Honeycombs. Ooh, Apple Turnovers a slow start out of the gate, but they try to make up some ground there, as the Limers are pretty far out in the lead, and the Honeycombs are far behind. And oh, what happened there with the Orcas and the Blue Makos? Wow, the Honeycombs just pounded backwards by the Efficient Eggs, and I think they're going to show us what happened here. Yeah, the Orcas just stalled at the line. They're going to be disqualified for pushing the Blue Makos back as the Limers, Apple Turnovers, and Efficient Eggs move on to the next round. It's unfortunate to see, but officials are going to say it wasn't a track defect. Here in Heat 2, we have the Soaring Saplings, Snowballs, Hypnotics, Silver Lychees, Kingfishers, and Koi Ponds. The Kingfishers are out to an early lead, but the Snowballs go right around them. Oh my god, everyone's together in a clump. I have no idea who moved on from that. It was a really close race. I do know it's not going to be a lure from the Hypnotics. They were pretty far back. Looks like we're going to get a photo finish between the Koi Ponds and Silver Lychees. I think the Koi Ponds were just a little bit further ahead. Yeah, they're going to give that to Kohaku from the Koi Ponds, and Longan from the Silver Lychees is not going to move on, along with Spruce and Allure. And now in the penultimate heat, we have the Jawbreakers, Scarlet Spectres, Oil Spills, Lily Pads, Banana Splits, and Watercolors. The Oil Spills are a bit out front, and the Jawbreakers trying to make moves on them. The Banana Splits aren't able to pass the Watercolors though, and the Oil Spills, Jawbreakers, and Watercolors will move on to the next semifinal. You know, you gotta wonder what's going through some teams' minds when they perform this badly in the first event. Oh, what's this? Looks like an argument is broken out. I'm getting word that Reaper of the Scarlet Spectres is accusing Sprinkle of the Banana Splits of pushing them back at the line just like the Orcas did in Heat 1. But I think officials are not going to disqualify them because the Scarlet Spectres already crossed the line when that happened. And now in the final heat, we have the Degaussers, Devil Dogs, Gliding Glaciers, Oasis Onslaught, Poison Ivy, and Storm Chasers. Gliding Glaciers out to an early lead, but Poison Ivy and Degaussers are not far behind, and Degaussers fall back. A nudge from the Oasis Onslaught is going to allow the Storm Chasers to move on, actually. And in front of them, it will be Gliding Glaciers and Poison Ivy. As they dry off, you gotta think that these teams that didn't advance are kind of disappointed for such a lackluster performance in their first ever event. And now we see the standings halfway through. 13th through 24th have been ranked. Blue Makos and Orcas are not going to get any points, but the Banana Splits had the best time out of all the teams that didn't advance, so they're going to pick up 10 points. And now for our first semifinal. Snowballs have a pretty sizable lead, but the Koi Ponds are in second. The Gliding Glaciers are trying to make up spots on the Watercolors, but they get shoved back, and the Koi Ponds, what happened to them? They fell all the way back to last. Looks like we're going to see here, Kohaku was shoved backwards by Lime and then Vine after trying to make a pass. Glacier was shoved backwards by Watery also. There's a lot of collision in this heat, but the Snowballs, Limers, and Watercolors will be moving on. Now on to our second semifinal. All the teams are pretty bunched together, with the Efficient Eggs out to an okay lead, and the Kingfishers and Oil Spills fighting back there for last. But as I say that, the Kingfishers make a phenomenal pass through the inside to take 3rd place and to advance to the final. Fry from the Efficient Eggs also making their team proud with a pretty fast time. And now to decide who will be on the podium for the first event of the qualifiers. The Limers are out to a pretty big lead as the group is pretty divided, and the Watercolors and the Snowballs make a huge charge out to the lead, and I'm pretty sure they took it from the Limers. So we get a replay here. The Limers, yeah, they're pretty far out in front as the Apple Turnovers, Kingfishers, and Efficient Eggs are battling further in the back. And here, the Watercolors and Snowballs draft up on the Limers, push them to the side to take 2nd and 1st respectively. Limers still do pick up third, but they missed out on a good amount of points there. Watercolors will take gold ahead of the Snowballs and the Limers. They actually got the fastest time of the day in the final with a 7.09 seconds. And all the teams are ready to attend the podium ceremony.